Colo.
Colo, Colo.
Oh, wow.
Colo, Colo.
Yes.
Colo, Colo. Micano, Micano. Micano, Micano. Micano, Micano. Micano,
This is the
Micano,
original.
Micano. Colo.
Colo,
Sorry,
Colo.
it's the original
Colo,
song.
Colo.
Colo, Colo.
You have to zoom in on his face.
Micano, Micano. Micano, Micano. Micano, Micano, Micano. Colo. Colo, Colo. Whack ass fuck. Welcome back, Benchwarmers, to another fantastic episode. As you just heard, we have Diego back in the studio. Let's go!
What's up, guys?
Woo! Oh man, I'm happy. We're all happy that you're back here in the studio, Diego. How does it feel to be in a new environment?
It's actually really nice. I really like what you did at the place, like all the 4K TVs and like the leather sofas that you installed down here. It's actually like a really like VIP experience. And
So-
I really like what you did with like the whole like the full wall fish tank. I thought that was a nice addition.
So that black couch right there that you see, that's for after hours. I need you to stick around for a little bit longer. We have some rated R content for our Patreon members that we do not have yet. So,
It's actually quite comfortable.
Yeah, like you know, like
I'm not for it, right?
really well.
the GTA apartments. That's what it feels like.
Hey,
Like the
GTA.
luxury ones, the luxury GTA apartments. Nico would know about that.
But yes, we're actually so super excited you're here. We got a lot to talk about. Before we get into everything, of course, I'm one of your hosts. My name is Eric. Alongside me, I got
Nico Nick.
Diego. Obviously, just talked right now, so you just heard his
Yeah,
beautiful
Diego,
voice.
the stat troll.
The stat troll. Oh my
So, I haven't
God.
heard.
That's
Of,
the
Do you have stat trolls for today?
A few.
Okay, I knew you.
haven't.
I knew it was coming prepared.
I haven't heard Satchel in a while. John, aka Gat.
All right.
And Josue, aka Dyer.
All right. So, and Marco's behind the scenes today, making sure everything's running nice and smoothly for today's episode. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys give us a like, a subscribe, a follow. Everything's in our socials down below. It's greatly appreciated. A review definitely goes a long, long way to continue, growing and getting more listeners and viewers like yourselves. And come share your voice on the bench because we have Diego here. We want to get more Chelsea fans on here too that continue to disappear whenever they say they're gonna appear. I mean, I think we're probably gonna have better chances of going through an ownership change for Chelsea before we get a fan on here to actually represent them. So that's kind of crazy. And I know there's fans listening out there. I know there
Yeah,
are.
it's gonna be an ownership change and a fan change because all those guys are gonna end up switching clubs.
Dude, I've been reading a lot about that actually. Like some fans are very like upset with some of the potential new owners that they might just like not want to be fans anymore.
Hey, well, we need more fans at Tottenham.
It's a political
No, we don't.
affiliation, but there's a whole rabbit hole we can fall
We
into.
have,
Which
we have one too many fans of Tottenham.
Well, I mean, you like me, right?
one too many, and he's barely even a Tottenham fan. But yes,
We're now gonna hit the whistle at adequate volume levels. As
we're
we
doing it
should.
loud.
I
I
should
was
just
checking
be
on you
for
guys.
like
See how you guys are doing.
it should just
have
be
like
like
a,
No,
a quick
no,
piece,
no,
a quick
no,
half
no.
a second, like
Already
like
ruining
an
the
actual
flow.
whistle.
Already ruining the
We
flow.
just had a feast, man, and I want to check in on you guys. Are you guys ready for this episode? Because I need the energy. I was chanting and nobody joined me in the chant. Very upsetting, by the way. Horrible
Vamos,
start.
vamos.
In Gad's defense, he literally just choked like 10 seconds ago.
Colo, Colo. Colo, Colo.
Micano, 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 Colo, 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 Micano,
Micano.
I think was that upstairs? Are they gonna?
Oh,
Is there gonna be a problem?
She's asleep.
Oh, okay.
She's asleep. through
I already
hurricanes.
woke her up when I barged into the door anyway.
Yeah.
I'll sleep through hurricanes, earthquakes,
Ace Park,
tornadoes. I'll sleep through it all too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess
Yeah, so how,
you can hit the
how are you guys
whistle,
doing? Are you
however
guys
want,
awake
man.
right now? Is the food settled in? You guys good to go?
Yeah, we had a good
Yeah,
feast.
fine.
We ate well.
I'm ready.
We shared.
I'm ready for a nap.
Just had a high cholesterol.
We
meal.
broke bread.
I'm ready for that
Amongst each other?
diabetes.
All right,
Let's get it.
Let's get into it. We got obviously Diego being here. We'll give you guys a breakdown of today's episode before we get into it. It's gonna be United first because we have to get his input and his thoughts on everything going on in United this season, and then we'll get into some Champions League draws. If there's time for more, we will do more. But as you know how we are, we will probably go on for more than expected, and then we'll just call it a day there. So let's get into it. All right,
Nice.
Manchester United. I've been
Nice.
waiting to actually get Diego's input in person because it's one thing through text that's like a one-off for like a quick statement like upset with the performance, yada yada yada, or happy about the performance, yada yada yada. Now we can actually kind of dig a little bit deeper and get your real thoughts and not your real thoughts, but like expand on your thoughts on what's going on at United this season. So, I mean, I think it's best to start off with the headlines that's going around right now, which is apparently Ten Hag is the guy that's going to be coming in. First of all, is that something that you're happy for, or do you think it's just like going to be the same thing over and over again with everything going on at United right now?
He's number one on the list. I'm looking at Gab because I mean I would hope that for most or the majority of the fans he'd be number one on the list. I also want to just get off my chest. I'm a little intimidated with Nico next to me because he's like a lot bigger than I am physically, and he's a very imposing figure. Aside from being a Liverpool fan and always like writing his notes, so I feel I'm finally feeling it. Like
his notes sometimes come with like little points here and there that might just hurt you.
I
So
don't know, like
it's
this.
good.
He's kind of like if you're talking to like your therapist and then randomly they start writing notes down in the middle of the conversation. Like
down.
I
You look
try to
down when
peek
he's
over.
writing?
I try to peek over. Like, what did you just write? Yeah.
What did I say?
My-
That was wrong?
What did I say?
Am I about to turn into Marco and go viral? Like, what's going on?
Oh, you did
Go
turn
viral.
viral.
You're part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's like the perpetual Jose Mourinho meme when he's like writing down his little notebook. That's how I see
I'm
him.
always ready, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
his
always
little
ready.
black book, man. He has
That's how I
what's
see
that? What's
him.
that movie called again? Where they have the little black book and it's like the hate book or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about? The burn book.
Diego Hassan.
That has the burn.
Is that what it's called?
No. It's pink and the freaking on this day he asked me what day it was. Oh Jesus, this is bad.
Damn.
Well,
We'll figure it
this
out.
is
Find
bad.
out
We'll get
If
back
you
to
guys
it.
know, then
Marco.
Anybody out there listening, let us know.
Marco,
Just
please, our
let us
crack
know in the
producer.
comments.
Oh
Choose
my
text,
God,
whatever.
this is
Wow,
terrible.
Find out where that's
That's
from.
what I'm looking up right now.
But anyway, sidetracking. Now that I got that off my chest and that disclaimer, Ten Hag, yes, I think Ten Hag is a good pick for the future. There's some people who very quickly would say that like he's young and up and coming, but that's simply, I feel like, just because they haven't watched him for a while, and then they set up like false expectations on what he's going to bring to the club. I also do believe now that there is a time to let go of, I guess, probably like dated tropes that the club has been founded on. Yes, foundation, yes, history, yes, culture, but I think it's been dragged on so much. One of the most highlighted, I guess, instances was that the comment by Gary Neville that he was upset that he saw players like going out or like enjoying themselves and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, well, sorry that when you were a professional, you'd have to get your legs broken every other week or be afraid of that just because they don't want to do that. Oh, and he was in response to Saka saying he wants some
Yeah.
more protection from the ref. And I know I'm kind of like winding a little bit because I want to try to pin every like, I guess, thought I've had in my head for a while.
Oh,
but,
we have a lot to ask.
but anyway, Ten Hag, I think if it does happen, I would hope it would materialize into a good appointment. And looking at what he can do with at least limited resources, because you guys have mentioned it also previously that his team, his Ajax team specifically, was picked apart, and there's a lot of key players that are gone, and he's doing pretty well. If he can replicate that at United, I think that they would also learn a nice lesson to stop spending money where they shouldn't, which is another point that I can probably touch on. Maybe setting you up.
Well, actually, you are kind of setting me up because if Ten Hag is the guy to come in, and like you just said, they just got picked apart. Realistically, we look at these United teams, and there does have to be a rebuild. And I'm gonna open up to both you guys now. What are some players that you would want to see move on? And I actually sent Nick this picture earlier, and it's like a whole list of players that I want to kind of read off to you. Fuck it, read it off. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Cavani, Sancho, Juan Mata, Eric Bailly, Pogba, Martial, Bissaka, Ronaldo, Rashford, Maguire. Those are a lot of players that we just read off. Are there any other players, or what? I guess out of those players, who do you want to see move on?
It's a lot of names.
I know it's a lot of names, and realistically, you're not gonna offload that many players in one transfer window. It'd be kind of crazy to see that.
That'd be
honest with you.
wild.
But who would you want to see move on, and who would have to come in? Like, what is a successful window coming up for you guys for Ten Hag to actually able to implement what he's gonna be able to try to do?
Well, Cavani's moving on. We already know that.
He's already
Yeah, I mean,
pretty much guaranteed to leave. I mean, we're lucky. We were lucky to have him for one more, but he's been so injury prone. He's not saying.
I heard he doesn't want to play anymore.
Either or.
Yeah.
Either or. With the caliber that Cavani brings, he can pick wherever he wants to play. Honestly, he deserves that. But as far as the names that you mentioned on there, I mean, I don't know why Sancho was on there already.
No, that's
but
Sancho. That's Sancho.
Yeah, he did.
I'm in Lingard. I don't know what's the Sancho for. Lingard.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't know what's the Sancho. Honestly, I have no idea what's the Sancho.
Lingard should probably move on too.
Yeah.
I've spoken to you specifically about how maybe Wan-Bissaka was probably a precipitated buy because he just doesn't fit in a modern system. I think maybe you guy would probably agree with that, I guess. But I don't know who else. There's like the usual names or like the old dudes, Mata, Matic. Those are just people that might end up taking a free or going somewhere else. I don't think they'll get money out of them. So I guess like the sells, probably Lingard, Wambi. Maybe they'll get some money out of.
Maguire.
And then Maguire.
But there's also
Whoa, yo, hold on. This is before you go, because I have to take this. Here's some Diego is kind of catching me off guard because Diego, you've died on this hill. Maguire has been like, arguably in your statistically, yes, last season he was very great for you guys. So for me to hear you say move him on, it's the captain of United. It's like, are you throwing the towel in on that?
It's not really throwing the towel, but the thing is that I have died on that hill, and it not just on the surface that it sucks to have to die on that hill to you fools every week.
I think we've been quiet about
You
it.
can't.
Recently, yes.
You can't wear the armband and perform the way you've been performing.
Yeah, like the whole reaching behind him, like the fact that there's compilation reels now. Like it's been long enough to see a compilation reel. There should not be a compilation reel over 80 million aside over the guy who's supposed to be captaining your team. No way, dude. No way. And I've been like, of course, I've been waiting for like, other players to make mistakes or other defenders or other teams or whatever. And even though that
Which
may be
happens.
occasionally,
Yeah.
it's not as often as Maguire does. And the thing is that even in the latest game where he started like slaloming back and forth in his own box and then he gives it to De Gea just like puts it out to touch. And it's like, why'd you put yourself in that situation again? And then the reason why I'm saying Maguire is that I find myself more comfortable with two other center backs on the field where I find myself like not even like on purpose, just subconsciously, I'm like, oh damn, I'm not nervous right now
Yeah, no,
that there's gonna be some bullshit happening, and it's because Maguire's not on the pitch. So I think it should be more of a thing where you take the L, you cut your losses, you admit that it was probably maybe it was the right recruitment, maybe it was
time,
in the
like,
right
for manager.
system. But that's the thing. Like
He
I've
came under
heard
who?
Nico before.
Was it Van Gaal?
Or Mourinho.
No, it was Mourinho where
And it kind of fits his style of play.
Maguire.
Yeah, who's
Oh,
it was
under Ole.
between. It was between
under Ole?
Mourinho and
Yeah,
Ole.
he got
Yes,
bought in 2019. Yeah, 2019.
2019.
I think he was the first big buy.
Yes, yeah, I remember like specifically recording Sky that day because he looked decent. He looked like he was good on the ball, good in the air, slap head, whatever. The fact that Nico constantly is like the only defense he has now has been whittled down to at least he does well with England. And then now with this international break, which we might touch on a little bit later coming up, we'll be able to see that. And then it'd be like, oh wow, he's so good, or wow, he's decent, or he doesn't make that many mistakes because he's not put in those positions.
Yeah.
And so if he doesn't fit on the team, he should be moved on. I think they have to start thinking like that instead of spending crazy, because that also too has come back to bite United in the ass, where they've spent just as much as City or just as much as I don't know, Chelsea, whatever, and they have nothing to show for it. So I would put those three names: Lingard, Wambi, Maguire. In a perfect world, if they get some money back from that, because now you got to think of realistically. All right, let's make good on these investments that just didn't turn out well, and that's it. I think that's the reasonable thing to do. And then you have to obviously take the L and put on your clown makeup.
Gat Diesel Bruno?
I wouldn't mind.
I would not sell Bruno. I would not sell Bruno. You guys are doing this on purpose. First, you're sitting me next to Mr. Net Negative over here,
It's true.
and then you've been slowly letting Gat drink the Kool-Aid.
Why would you drink? Why would you drink? Like, why would you sell Bruno? Like, what's your stance on that?
I mean, obviously, I would prefer not to. It's Bruno.
Yeah.
But if it happens, then
like you wouldn't be opposed to like a decent money coming in for him and replacing him.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's just I think the biggest issue that I have is just for whatever reason, him and Ronnie just don't work together all the time. We always seem to do better when only one of them is on the pitch, whoever that may be. So, and yes, Bruno's supposed to be, or at least before Ronaldo came in, he was supposed to be the guy. He's not the guy anymore, unless he's the only one on the pitch. So if we get something back from him, it is what it is. You
Would
know,
you-
obviously, he's done great things.
would you continue building around him? Because I feel like that was the whole idea, right? He was supposed to be the man. Would you, with Ten Hag, build around this player right now, or
If it's just him,
like no? What do you want? Like, do you want to build around Bruno, or do you?
currently, I would rather build around Elanga and Sancho,
Okay.
especially with Ten Hag coming in. The formation that he'll most likely employ would most likely be a 4-3-3, with the two wide players playing more inside on the fullbacks, focusing more on the actual attack. So I would build around those two, all the young guys especially.
Do you need Bruno to be a part of this project, or, I mean, not negative, or
I have to, or else I have to freaking return my shirt. Like,
yeah, you got the Fernandez shirt on. I'm happy you wore it today, honestly.
I have to return my jersey. I think what Gat's saying is valid, but I also believe that it was derailed with the arrival of Ronaldo because clearly Ronaldo's not going to be there for 5 years. He apparently, the rumor is he's going to honor his year extension and be there for another year for whatever the project is. But again, I think long term looking at it like that, we get much more out of someone like Bruno and keeping him on the team, and then putting him into a system or building around a system where he is the guy versus having him and Ronaldo compete for
Do you think
who
he's the
loses
guy?
the ball more.
Do you think he's the right guy to build around?
I think we saw a full season of it last season. I think he can be. And it was probably a better situation where it was all pressure because nobody else was even doing it at the time.
All pressure or no pressure?
I
No
think
fans?
it was all pressure, at least for him to do something
Okay.
and to I guess in Spanish is like responder, put your hand up. Because who else is going to do that? Yes, Fernandez, whatever, but who else is going to step up to take those? Who else is going to put in the assist or whatever? He hit freaking ridiculous numbers where he's being compared to all these legacy midfielders. I think he showed us a season's worth of what he can do. Obviously, this season we've gotten a taste. I've seen it where he doesn't work with certain situations, and then you have the other unfortunate variable of Pogba wanting to leave.
I do have a lot of things in question on that, but Nick, I know you wanted to say something real quick, and I cut you off, but
Nick's a Bruno hater. I can't.
It's look, man. The truth hurts at times.
Westbrook.
Bruno Fernandez, not negative. Second
Nah.
time, but going back, another player is before we get to Pogba is Marcus Rashford. We talked about him a
Yeah.
little bit on the podcast before.
True.
So,
Yes.
Diego, what are your thoughts on Marcus Rashford on his form currently, and do you think he should be looking to move on from Manchester?
This is hard, man, because this is a player. I feel like everyone has at least one player where okay, Jose, what is one player that you feel like represents Spurs that you would feel at least a little bit upset that if they left, okay, this is someone who is the team,
I mean,
and if they sold him,
I mean, it's Harry Kane.
yeah, that was a setup. I know Harry Kane should leave.
if it was anybody else, I would have smacked you.
Harry Kane should. Okay, so
If it was anybody else.
for Arsenal, who is someone
Fair
that
guy.
I mean, honestly, we have two players right now,
That would
Saka and Emil Smith Rowe right now.
right.
Saka and Emil Smith Rowe.
And that's what I'm saying. For Liverpool, I think someone. I mean, obviously, aside from Salah, it's not someone who is the best, but someone who just represents your club,
Yeah, it'd be Trent for sure.
like Trent. And so I see Marcus like that. I see Marcus like that just because he was youth system brought up. I remember clearly. This is a little bench insider story. When he made his debut, we were at the cabin. This was a little trip amongst the boys, and his debut against Arsenal, scoring those 2 goals and watching it on the big TV.
Which cabin was it?
This was a while ago,
Yeah,
bro.
the Poconos cabin.
Correct, Poconos cabin. Yeah, that.
Those were brutal times for me because
Every single time we went,
it was against Liverpool, and you know how Edgar celebrates.
Yeah, but that season for Arsenal fans.
The inside indoor jacuzzi one, right?
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
stopped watching
yes.
games.
Was that
That
a
season for Arsenal
Carabao
fans
Cup
was vibes.
match? No, right?
No, it was
That was
league.
league.
It was
match?
league. It was league weekend match.
Yeah.
It was a league weekend match, and I remember little old Rashford scoring twice out of nowhere his debut, and then he went on to score on each of his debuts for all the major competitions, and it was wow, what a great prospect, and he just represents basically what United is as far as their success with the youth system. However, now I think I don't know. I can't explain it, and I don't want to go into it because I could probably talk about it forever. But a lot of people, the theories is at least the most common one is he's maybe been sidetracked with all of his extracurricular stuff. That probably he's now worried about that as well when he's on the pitch and he can't focus on being a footballer 100% of the time. Not saying that footballers can't be activists or be active in in their communities, but he is young, and he was thrown into during the pandemic, a pretty serious situation where he's trying to get politicians to feed younger kids for free. And so that obviously is going to take up a lot of his time and concentration. On the footballing side of things, though, and this I've seen a lot, and I've also agree with that opinion, in that now he's been kind of found out in that he can't make decisions in the final third for himself other than run and cut into space, and he does that way too much. I text Gad probably more often about being pissed off at something Rashford did, because either he stops, and what he used to do, he stops, waits to pull maybe a marker or two, and then he sees the space, he can run into it. Now he stops, the entire team we're playing against sets up defensively again, and then he loses the ball, which is not the way that at least a winger of his caliber should be playing. It's almost like he's afraid to explore other areas of his game, and he's playing very, very, very safe. And now it's not working for him. So the question was what to do with Rashford. I would hate for him to be sold. It would break my heart. It would break my heart.
As a fan, yeah.
As a fan, yes.
As if you're Rashford.
But if I'm Rashford, I'm out. If I'm Rashford, I'm out, because you make those. We don't even know what kind of conversations these footballers have. And I remember from the Spurs documentary, that one bit with Dele Alli and Jose Mourinho, where Mourinho was like, "Don't mess this up. You have a lot of potential." And now we see him riding the bench at Everton, and it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Do I want to see Rashford in that position? No, but probably Rashford doesn't want to see himself in that position. So he's maybe had those conversations. Hey, coach, am I in these plans, or what's up? What's the setup? Can I adapt? And so I think he's young enough to make the jump. It would suck, man. Just thinking about it, I'm kind of sad a little bit.
How would you feel about that?
If I'm Rashford, I'm staying.
Okay.
And I've said it before on the podcast when we were talking in regards to Elanga. If Rashford wants to make these comments, supposedly that he's not getting the playing time, well, you're not getting the playing time for a reason.
Mhm.
You got to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Show that you can put in the work on the training pitch, the limited minutes that you're now getting. Show us what you can do. So if I'm Rashford, boyhood club coming up through the academy, stay, do the work, prove that you deserve that spot over Elanga, who just got his first call up to Sweden.
Yeah, look, there's two sides to every coin, because if you look at, for example, the Aubameyang situation, he was doing horrible at Arsenal that past 2 months, and look at him fucking destroying it at Barcelona.
Terrible.
You know, it looks crazy. It looks
awful.
It looks insane. But Jose, I want to tie you in, and I kind of want to also touch on the Pogba comments. Also, earlier this season, in the beginning of the season, Harry Kane was pretty much throwing his toys at the Prem. He wanted to leave Spurs. We all knew that. You were upset with him as well. Do you know what the Paul Pogba comments were, by the way, or no?
That he's depressed at United.
Pretty much. I'm gonna pull it up real quick, just because. Or do you know the quote? I forgot.
Yeah, that it's been 5 years now, and that he expected to at least win something, and then he went on to say, "This season, it's dead again."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Sorry, I expect to win something, whether it's at United or another club."
So
I read something where he said what Pogba said was that he doesn't know his role at United.
His role.
But when he's with the French national team and under Deschamps, he knows what he needs to do. He knows his role. He knows his job. But as of right now, United, I guess the last two and a half seasons, he just didn't know where he belongs. That's it. He's just basically there.
My question would be to you is, obviously you were upset with Harry Kane earlier in the season when he was not playing. You were like,
I was, but I understood.
And you accept you kind of accepting, because obviously he's doing good now. Do you think, and then I'll open up to you guys, that Pogba has a way back into the team, or that ship has sailed?
I don't think so. I mean, because how long has he been there already?
5 years.
Yeah, I think the only time he was actually happy at United was under Mourinho. He was actually, winning some trophies. He was getting his playing time. He understood what he needed to do. But, change of coaches, change of formation, change of lineups, change of players on the pitch. That chemistry that you have with other players, especially for a central midfielder, it's hard to continue your own playing style when other players don't know your playing style at all. The chemistry is just way off. So I don't see Pogba staying at all. And I don't think it's going to improve. I honestly don't, unless miraculously,
Mm.
Deschamps becomes the coach of United. That's it.
So back now, opening to you guys, the United fans. Did you hear Pogba make those comments today? Does this shine the light on Pogba, like him as a player, or does it shine the light on a bigger problem that is like everything going on in the back room?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think first and
I agree.
foremost,
Yes.
I don't necessarily blame him for making those comments, especially in regards to he doesn't know what his role is because, and we've seen it a lot lately. Ralph tends to switch to a 4-2-4 often, and who gets moved around in a 4-2-4 formation, he ends up having to drop back and be part of the two
Mhm.
in the middle. So I don't blame him because his role is always changing. In a 4-2-3-1, most of the time he's out on the left. Then if Bruno's not on the pitch, he'll move into the middle. In 4-2-4, he drops back. So I don't blame him. He doesn't know necessarily what he needs to do because everything keeps changing.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to say. I mean, with all the comments, I mean, at this point, I'm ready to just say, well, if you don't want to be here, just go. But if Ten Hag does come in, if we get a solid defensive mid, because that's what Ten Hag is going to want, that defensive mid to be that anchor, which it's supposed to be. If that happens, then I can see definitely Pogba kicking it up because he's not going to have to worry about shifting around so much. He knows what he's going to do. He's going to be that box to box role, more pushing, more attacking. So there's a lot of ifs, but at this point, I'm just at the point where you're making those comments, just go.
Nigga, you're over Pogba?
Huh?
You over Pogba already?
Yeah, is this his last year of his contract? Next season?
I think it's next season.
Yeah, I think this summer I'd cash in. I think I'm looking at PSG. I'm
That's
looking
what
at
he
a
said it.
That's what he's.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a 70 mil bid. Uses bid from PSG on Paul Pogba.
Use that bid for a solid defensive mid.
That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy how these players still hold their value, like even though they've been so poor like in recent years. They still, not saying like specifically Pogba, but saying players in general who like have gone to not shit, but just dropped in form so much they still hold their value.
We see it the most
But
with
overinflated
Pogba because yes, he does go on a bad run of forms, but then takes just one masterclass of a game, and then all of a sudden the narrative
Forgotten
shifts.
about.
It's up in June though. His contract
Mm.
this June,
This
yeah.
June. So it is
which
his
is
last.
why the free
Oh, yeah.
agency sharks are already swimming the waters, and PSG are ready to.
Cash in on
Cash
in on
another
him.
free.
Yeah, and then another fucking crash out Champions League again. So whatever, they can do whatever they want with that.
Like back to his role though, like I think he's so used to getting his handhold by N'Golo Kante, one of the best midfielders of all time. Literally, like for France.
Mhm.
In a pivot.
Can't take.
And literally, he turns into Paul Pogba turns into one of the best midfielders of all time when he's next to N'Golo Kante. So it's like, what else do you expect when you go to United when you have McTominay and Fred, not N'Golo Kante, or maybe like Paul Pogba, he gets switched around, he gets left wing, as a center mid. Sometimes he was employed as a deep line playmaker. What if he's just not good enough to be in those roles?
Well, even in Juventus, he was actually doing pretty well with Vidal and
Yeah,
but
Pjanic. I know it's a different league,
Look
but
who's
still.
around him. I guess so.
Arturo
Whatever.
Vidal,
Arturo Vidal and
Marchisio, Andrea
Pjanic.
Pirlo.
Oh,
man.
Pirlo. It was Pirlo, yeah.
Different squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That definitely makes sense.
I'm really curious. What's a successful transfer window for United coming up this summer? Like, what would be what do they have to bring in that's going to bring them back to where they should have been right now, which is challenging for titles?
Sir Alex
Or do you
Ferguson.
think that?
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, do you have any more United questions? Because I'm actually on that, but I have one more that just came to mind. What would have to be? I'm sorry. Let me digress. This coming season,
Okay.
what is the correct target for you guys? Because this year was supposed to be challenging for titles because second place finished last year. Yada
Mhm.
yada yada. We all know the story. Seeing everything going on this season, knowing what's coming in or supposedly coming in, what's a target that you would accept for yourselves as acceptable?
It's defensive midfielder, dude. If we would have gotten serious
Okay.
about a defensive midfielder this season, instead of probably making like that extravagant signing with Ronaldo, which I guess the club had to do if the City deal was actually going to materialize, which I think would have looked ridiculous. I guess at least from ownership level to those fans, a defensive midfielder. And if you look at actually the recruitment that United has had in the last 4 or 5 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't even reinforced that legitimately. Maybe you could claim Matic was a pickup, but even him, he was on his last legs, and he had already done a pretty phenomenal job at Chelsea to begin with. But he wasn't someone that you're going to build a team around, and he definitely wasn't someone who's going to put in 90-minute shifts consecutively at that age anyway. Now even less. So we still are missing that kind of a player. The profiles of a Conte, of a Declan Rice, of someone who sits, maybe even an Ndidi. What?
I know you want to say it, Thomas Party. I know you want to say it.
Or yeah, you know what? Yes, a Thomas Party, because Party will sit and he'll
I mean, he'll miss shots. Don't get me wrong.
he'll of course he'll miss shots and he'll make one.
Or
He'll play the
crossbar.
lottery the same day. But but the idea is that he's supposed to sit there and do the dirty work while everyone else is able to play creatively.
We've all said it all numerous times that the game is won in the midfield.
Yeah. So if you get the CDM, where are you in this project? Are you back challenging for titles, or are you guys fighting for top 4 at this point? Like, what's like a realistic accolade for next season?
I think they took a step back. And I preface this saying that I'm very much a Solskjaer, I guess, fanatic or a sympathizer, a Solskjaer sympathizer. I think that alliteration works nicely because I was also like, damn, like only because I knew if they let him go, it was going to reset. Like this is literally not back to zero, not back to the drawing board, but it was several steps back.
Because his whole thing was culture, bring it back to culture.
Sure, and then at least you had things like second half FC, getting scored on, rubbing your hands together. We're gonna come back. Now the boys are gonna like overturn a deficit, and now they haven't been able to do that this season at all under Ragnick. Of course, he's doing things, I think, systematically by improving the defensive workings of the team, and then maybe transitioning like little like step at a time, little baby steps. And that's why I think that they've taken several steps back, because it like you get all these, you look at the results, 1-0 wins, or if there's a draw, they don't come back. They have in some like magical occasions, but I know Gat has mentioned it. He goes balls to the wall, 4-2-4, extreme high risk, because he knows he has nothing to lose. He knows he's not here permanently. He probably in the back of his head is like, I'm going to take a more important role, so I'm going to throw the dice. And of course he doesn't mind if you're going to get squashed. And that's the thing that hurts the most, that we have gotten squashed this season because of it. Yeah, under both managers, under both Ole and Ragnick. And that, honestly, that's my humble pie, boys.
Well, what's the
humble
target
pie.
for next year? Like, we have to do this for it to be a successful season, and this is where we are in the project right now.
What, 3 signings? I would say 3 signings.
3 signings and top
Defensive
4.
mid, center back, and a right back.
Yeah, including the center defensive mid. And then just you're gonna have to push for top 4.
Even if we just get just the defensive mid, or even if we just get a center back or a right back,
This is how it feels.
Even-
to be an Arsenal fan, dude.
even if we
Dude,
get
100%,
even if we
Damn,
get
bro.
just one of those spots fixed, still can't challenge for title. There's so many other issues going around the club that it's just it's not going to work. It's
I
going to
feel
take
like
time.
we lost half of our listeners in viewership just talking about United for so long. But I do appreciate the fact that that's probably going to be it. I agree with that. It's going to be a top 4 push, and that's it. I don't think that all of this other stuff that they should that they've been trying to focus on for the last 4 or 5 years has obviously not worked out for them. It's bit them in the ass. And then we do have a handful of trophies to show under what people regard as the most toxic era of the club, but that's because he knew what he was doing. I think now it has to be something different. It has to. I think that they're holding on too much to how they've done things before. There's obviously important things to keep because that's the identity of the club.
Of course.
But then like it all really just fell apart. I never ever would have imagined myself on the receiving end of like a fucking 5-0 to Liverpool ever in my life.
Why though? Listen, everything in football must
Ever.
have its opposite. So United enjoyed what? From 1990 to 2013.
Yes.
What is that? It's just too many years of greatness. Just
Yes,
some
like,
point where you just have
football.
to, like Barcelona,
Which is-
Liverpool,
which is
No,
fine.
And
Like,
in
it
the history
just
of
has to
football,
happen.
Spurs still don't win shit. So let's keep that in mind.
but no, listen, that's fine. Which is why I don't know if it was the last one or the episode before. That's why I said fans need to move on. It's not gonna be like that forever. And like you said, yes, it's been such a long time. It was bound to end at some point. Now we just got to move on. This is the next stage.
Nah, bro. At least we're still beating Spurs. That's what I'm happy about.
What a trophy!
Oh damn!
That's what we've been reduced to, though. I'm gonna let Nick get his licks in.
Nah,
It's all
but
good.
going back to the recruitment, like, listen, now they can sign like all the top class DMs in the world. Declan Rice, Chouameni can sign a top class striker. But if their back line still consists of David De Gea, Harry Maguire, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and a pivot consisting of McTominay, they're still gonna be challenging for top 4.
That's probably it, and that's probably
Yeah.
that's exactly the situation that we're in. So I can't contest that, and that's what we've been experimenting with. And only recently have we seen a few, like short run of games with Delo or even Tellus on the left side. So that's again, I don't want to like keep repeating myself, but several steps back. I think it's going to be an exciting project, hopefully for someone like Ten Hag to maybe solve with the help of Ragnick in an advisory role.
If
I
there's
guess.
only one way that this is gonna work for Ten Hag, he has to be given the time and the support from the board.
I hope.
That's the
I hope
only
that
way
he
it's gonna
does.
work. If they fall down the Chelsea path of just rotating managers, it's gonna be the same circle repeating itself. Hopefully, they give him the time. It looks like he's doing exciting things at Ajax. So if he has the money at United.
You know what I feel like? You know that Kodak meme where he's on Breakfast Club. He's like, I hope so. He's like all like shy, whatever.
For real.
That's how I feel.
Because he's gonna have all the money he wants, and he can recruit to see if he can manage the egos though. So that's gonna be another big challenge for him. That's all I got on United question wise for you guys.
Bet.
Is there anything that
I just have one. If Ten Hag is going to United, do you think he'll bring some of his players with him from Ajax?
First of all,
Ryan, what's
Nick's already trying to give us the bad juju. Like
Sebastian Haller, yo? Pitch Ronaldo.
I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it.
Verga.
He already said Anthony for United registers 2 goals
I can't
over
wait till they
season.
sign him.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I think he will. I think he will bring 1 or 2 names, but I don't know if it's gonna be like a whole sweep or a raid.
Now, is Van de Beek sold to Everton, or is he out
it's
on
a
loan?
No,
He's
it's a
on loan. So, do you think he'll fit well under Ten Hag?
Maybe he'll have
I think
another run.
he absolutely will, because Ten Hag does like to prioritize youth, and we see what he's done with Ajax, developing everybody, and then they all get shipped off. So I absolutely think he'll get another run.
So that's the whole different discussion you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because so you're
Yeah.
saying this is gonna be a youth project now.
Oh,
Not
no,
necessarily.
no.
He just
Or
he'll
gonna mix.
he's
At least
got,
he
he'll,
has a
he'll, he'll
history
get
of
a
doing
he'll
that.
get a good there's gonna be a good mix in of some youth players in
Damn,
there.
we can brief on this rabbit hole because you're right.
Yeah.
He does have a history of just kind of building a team from like they get the youth up.
Mm-hmm.
United is now,
And we already have we have a couple youngsters in the academy that are just flying.
We're
right
the
now,
club
too.
with the longest running record of youngsters in the team, in the Premier League. Like at least featuring at least 1 academy player in the starting 11.
this year.
No, it goes back several years.
But I'm saying like the recruitment hasn't been to allow those players to flourish at least this season. Because when you bring in Ronaldo, you're obviously blocking the path for somebody else.
One, yeah, but they still found Elanga and like space for Elanga to
But that's
to
because
show up.
Rashford fell off.
Correct. But at least they're still doing that in a way where you have the youth prospects getting minutes, which I think is the most important thing. Obviously, this season isn't the best example, but having them still making debuts, I think it's going to be probably an environment that he'll flourish in. I hope.
I'm really curious to see what's going to be his way to approach this, like kind of bring in players that are going to help me challenge for titles or build a foundation again. And like you said, challenge for top 4. I'm really curious to see what path he's going to take. Do you guys have any like thoughts on that? Like, which way is he going to again start from step 1, start from the project, his style of play, bring in his players, or is he going to bring in some players that are just going to help? Supposedly in his mind or in United's mind, bring him to the next level to continue challenging for trophies because
I think the latter, because it wouldn't take as long, and I feel like that's probably what he's going to be kind of like pushed towards, so that way it
short
doesn't
to
become
midterm.
yes, so it doesn't become like a 6-year. We'll wait until it comes to fruition on the 5th year type of project, which has worked well under some managers, but I think they're at a point where they're desperate now, and especially from ownership point of view, like you can't be. They're looking at freaking United cricket team apparently. Yeah, did you read about that?
I saw that.
So
I saw that.
I'm like, come on, man, get your priorities
Trying
straight.
to give a cricket team the United name.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it would be short. It'd be like a short to midterm type thing.
Do you think that as a Liverpool fan, because obviously for a long time as Arsenal fan too, we've gone trophyless and we've had obviously our downs. someone in our downs as an Arsenal fan, but looking at United, do you think they should go for the long-term approach?
Absolutely. I was just thinking right now, like for example, Jurgen Klopp, he joined in 2015, and it wasn't really until like 3 years in 2018, pretty much the summer of 2018, where he really started to assemble a squad like Van Dijk, Allison, Fabinho, that whole spine slash core. Also, Mikel Arteta, just like now, where he joined was
This is
2019,
his third year.
had horrid players, and now he's starting to get the players that he wanted in Ben White, Ramsdale, and etc. Also, Thomas Tuchel, although that's a little bit more short term, he came in and brought a philosophy of his football and really instilled into some players. Where like players like Antonio Rudiger, Andreas Christensen, brought in Thiago Silva, players who weren't really that great except Thiago Silva, and brought them to a whole nother level.
It worked.
But the ultimate like statement or question is where like with Ten Hag is like obviously I think he'll do well bringing this youth project up, but it's whether he can maintain a top level team. Like for example, I don't know, like going back to Klopp, he was able to assemble his pieces, but it was whether if he can manage that top teams with the likes, like you said, like the egos, Van Dijks or Salahs, whether he can manage that and really keep them at that level.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that's literally all I have with United. No more questions come to mind anymore.
No more United talk for the
No
rest
more
of the
United
season.
talk.
This is
Marco,
a
do you have
trap.
anything over there, actually?
This was a setup. Eric's not going to talk about United for the rest of the season. He got it all out at once.
I got it all out. I mean, look, I mean, I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Here
Here
we
we
go.
We got Josue here. We got you guys here, and we got us here. Top four.
Who's getting 4?
Mm.
Let's tackle this real quick, and then we'll get into some Champions League draws.
We're getting it on the
And
record.
then we'll
Okay.
actually get your thoughts as far as the title race goes. Is it
The
swaying
lesser
Liverpool's way? Yeah,
lesser
yeah.
of two evils.
Lesser
You're going
of
to put
two
me in
evils,
that seat?
exactly. So,
Damn.
Jose, we'll start with you, and we'll walk down our way down the table.
Okay.
How do you feel about top four? I think you guys are.
We're
above-
fifth.
You're
We're in
fifth.
fifth.
Mhm.
Arsenal are in fourth. United are in
Sixth.
and
West Ham
tied up
seventh.
points, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I think we're yeah.
Unless it's
I'll check
51
right now.
50.
I'll
I think
check
it's
right
51 54, 51 50 maybe. Am I wrong?
No, they're actually ahead by 1 point.
Mhm.
You have 1 point. You're 3 points behind Arsenal, right behind us, and then you guys are 50 points.
Yeah,
West
54
Ham are
51.
48, but I think it's come to the consensus that if they continue in Europa, they'll probably fall down in the Premier League just because they kind of have depth. Unless you
Mhm.
guys counter that thought.
No, I agree.
But yeah, top four. Josue, you guys are at 29 games, 1 game in hand for Arsenal. We still have the North London Derby to play, which hasn't been announced yet.
Nope.
How are your feelings going into the final home stretch or top four? I wrote you guys off earlier, and I'm eating humble pie right now, so I'm kind of scared.
Well, I believe that we can still do it. I honestly do think the players have, slowly adapting to Conte's, style of play.
2 games.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the pattern. Yeah, whatever.
Keyword slowly.
I mean, it's there. Kulusevski has been a great signing, and he's been providing really well. He's been keeping Lucas Moura on the bench because he was our guaranteed starter since the beginning of the season. And Bentancur, he's slowly getting there. He had a great game against West Ham, but with the rest of the games left in the season, I honestly do think that we have, to be quite honest, a better shot than Arsenal, only because the fixtures that Arsenal does have
Fixtures,
coming,
bro,
those fixtures that Arsenal do have coming. You got what, Man City? No, not Man City.
No, Chelsea,
Chelsea.
Man
And
United,
guys.
Spurs. You have Chelsea United actually on like the same 3 days apart,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
fucking horrid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we have you guys not announced yet. We still have West Ham to play. But
Yeah, so I mean, those fixtures are tough ass fixtures. I don't know about United's fixtures and
I think
the
we have
rest of
Chelsea. That's really it. And Arsenal.
Yeah, the second to last game week of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They're-
I-
they're right off.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this past weekend, but because of the FA Cup, it
Yeah,
was
FA Cup.
postponed. I think it was already rescheduled for
Yeah,
2 weeks.
It's,
in
Liverpool,
33.
Right after that, it's Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace. at the
Yeah,
end.
Chelsea and
and
Palace.
Spurs have Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, Brentford, and Leicester.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm not-
Liverpool, Burnley,
I'm
and
not gonna
Norwich.
rule out that those are going to
No,
be
you're going with
easy
the team we're going with,
fixtures. Yeah, but it's definitely more to us that we could actually finish top four. If United still are not the way they should be, we could definitely beat them. And if the fixtures go really well on our favor against Arsenal, then we definitely won't have a problem to finish in fourth place. But of course, you can't rule out the smaller teams who are battling to stay in the Premier League and get out of relegation,
Yeah, the
or
scraps.
for just a better position on the table for pride. So it's the Premier League, man. Anything can happen.
I think the win-loss pattern is going to continue.
So that
I'm hoping for that.
kinda-
Well, it stopped. I mean, we've won one,
one
so
game, it's up one game.
it
But
don't matter. Okay, it's gonna continue. Please.
since this is kind of the first time Diego's here, and this is a good chance to kind of refresh our not top 4 in this case, our top 6. Give me your top 6 at the end of the season.
Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, United, West Ham.
Yeah, that's 7. Okay.
Okay.
He's gonna
I
go.
lost.
He's gonna go through the whole table.
I was gonna go through the whole table.
So yeah, what are obviously you can go
Top
guys and
6?
Diego, but no. What are your
Okay. In general, everything. So
feelings? Like, do you think your top 4 is realistic?
Top
for
4
you guys, or-
chances,
yeah.
and then top 6.
I still think top 4 is definitely realistic. I mean, mathematically, obviously, it's still going to be there.
How do you
um,
feel?
I definitely feel it's still realistic. I'm more worried about you guys than I am about Spurs, just because of their record and slowly adapting to Conte's style. Yeah, it's only you guys I'm really worried about, because you guys, even though you guys have some tough fixtures coming up, you guys are just flying right now. So it's gonna come down to the wire,
Mhm.
but I still feel
Pretty confident.
pretty confident. Yeah.
Top 6.
And then top 6: City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, West Ham.
What? Damn, you think Spurs are gonna choke that much? Shit. All
I think
right.
he's just doing it for
Yeah.
for shits and giggles because I'm here. I guarantee you, when we get on Xbox Live tonight, he's gonna change his fucking mind.
Oh,
Damn,
You're
Diego.
gonna
This
called
is
out.
recorded, so at least we can fall back to, because remember his predictions
Oh,
from
yes,
earlier
predictions,
didn't
yeah.
fall through. So I'm counting on that again.
I think top 4 chances. United also still have a good possibility of making them, specifically because of the fact that they're out of everything else. And I think that's definitely doesn't look like that's an L they have to take. It doesn't look good on them this season. But they can take it as a blessing in disguise. Now there's no excuses whatsoever. There's nothing else for these fools to play for. And I've definitely felt the frustration, at least during I think it was like the City game. That was a City game, right? That they're like
They
they
just
gave
gave
up
up,
on the
yeah.
pitch, or at least that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
So now there's no excuse. There's no reason for them to not push for it. I think that based off of no other distractions, they have a good chance. Arsenal, I think, off of their form, that's what keeps them in the back of my mind, where I'm preying on their downfall. And then Spurs, because of their fixtures, I think they have it easiest out of all 3 candidates. And if they do the bare minimum with players like Kane and Son, and I think it showed this past weekend where they combined yet again. That's all you need. Like, everyone else on that team can do whatever they want, as long as you have those 2 players functioning under what Conte wants. It's also I think a threat.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting for all of them, but aside from the fan perspective, I would still put United in the top 4 conversation.
So
We're also ignoring Chelsea quite a bit, which is kind of funny, but fuck Chelsea
Yeah.
either way.
I
So
mean, Chelsea pretty much has their place.
yeah, it's
I
kinda,
think so.
It feels that way.
I see Marco shaking his head in the background. Our crack producer, he's saying, "I don't think so."
He's saying they're gonna fall off the face of the earth.
I
Soon anyway.
actually
Once
I-
the new ownership comes in, they're just gonna disappear.
I would say that all of the extra attention from what's circling Chelsea and the fact that they do have to still perform in several competitions that
Mhm.
they're in, I think that's going to be enough
Bound
to
to lose
derail
points.
them.
They have to lose points.
That's my sentiment
I actually
exactly.
have
They're
a-
bound
I
to
have a
lose
rebuttal.
somewhere.
I have a rebuttal
I think
for
I
that.
think they're
They're
going to
staying
slip up.
third.
I got a
They're
rebuttal for
staying.
that.
I think they're going to slip up, man.
All right, top 6.
But anyway, top 6. I'm giving it to City. Lesser of 2 evils. I'll answer that straight off the bat. Liverpool, I think, will push them to the edge, but they're going to end up second. Jesus.
I have a feeling
There's
I know where you're
no
going
way.
with this.
Oh wait, dude.
Dude, Chelsea
have
have the
a
easiest
feeling-
fixtures in the
Yes, but okay, but like
You
there
really
are
think
moments
Chelsea's
there are
gonna
moments in there are moments during the season where we've seen that they've slipped up,
Wait,
and it just
so-
doesn't work for them. Not for their
There's
fault though.
only
They have
one
injuries.
result I'm seeing you're gonna say here, and I just cannot believe what you're about to say. Right now.
Are we all on the same page of what he might be saying
I
right
think
now?
what are you gonna say next?
I think Arsenal might take third. I think Arsenal might take third.
No, I
No,
was
no, no,
fully
no, no,
expecting
no,
him.
no.
Yeah.
I would love for United to take third, but we still have to play Liverpool. We still have to play Chelsea. And the fact that they are not good at closing out games to this day, or at least during this season, I think that they are just like how I'm expecting Chelsea. They are bound to drop points, unfortunately. Like we can't trust them.
So
We can't trust
Wow.
them.
So you're saying Arsenal, United, and Chelsea?
I think Arsenal, United, and then Chelsea.
Wow,
I'm gonna do that.
crazy drop. From
It's gonna be
Chelsea.
crazy.
That's a hot take right there, bro.
It's gonna be
Wow.
Chelsea
yes.
fans, what do you guys think?
I'm gonna look crazy right now, but
So,
listen, if I get
That could
if I get
happen,
called
you're right.
deluded, I don't mind. At least I'll join you guys. But
Look, it could very well happen. I mean, again, they might not even be here at the end of the season, so who knows? But
well, yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
If that's the case, I want points for that hot take. If they're a dissolved club by the end of the season,
no, to his point though, if they go into administration, that's a 9-point deduction right there.
Mhm.
But that was from my understanding at least, so that would significantly hurt the chances. But yeah,
and then I'm running it out with Spurs at the bottom.
oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, at the end, the football gods reward the teams most of the time. To play
Oh,
the
Here
better
we
Mr.
go.
Philosophy over here, bro.
No, it's true. It's
Take my
true.
chocolate.
Most of the time, they reward the teams who play better football, and the team that play better football out of Arsenal, United, and Tottenham is Arsenal. So top six, I'll go Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, and Spurs.
So my rebuttal to the Chelsea comment, and it's something that I've kind of noticed and felt as an Arsenal fan recently with everything that happened with the whole COVID situation, how everybody came at us in the media, yeah. Chelsea are in a unique position where everything that's happening off the pitch, it's just a lot of fucking drama happening off the pitch for them right now. But all they have to worry about is what they do on the pitch. And Tuchel, I think Tuchel is a great manager. He's doing great with them already, but he has a great opportunity to kind of build that us versus them mentality. Like everybody's against us, it's us against the world. Let's fucking go out there and do our shit. And I think that kind of mentality, when you instill in players like at Chelsea who have won the Champions League, are probably gonna be more driven. So I just don't. I see your point where it's a double-edged sword. It could go horribly wrong for them because it's so much fucking things happening right now. But at the same time, it's like depending on how it's managed, it could actually work out in their benefit. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep Chelsea in third. I'm gonna give Liverpool first place. I think that game at the Etihad is it's just gonna sway your
It's
way.
gonna be wild.
Yeah, it's gonna sway your way.
It's gonna
And,
be
Man City
it's gonna be
second.
game of the year.
Yeah, I think so. Man City second, Chelsea third. If this was Arsenal again last year, 2 years ago, I wouldn't be saying this. But we got the double over Wolves, got the double over Leicester, got the double over Aston Villa. Things that we haven't done in a very long time. So now I'm confident that we can continue this good run. I would bail us out in the past and say, hard fixtures, but it's all these teams. But seeing how we're playing, seeing how we performed against other teams, I'm gonna hold Arsenal to a higher standard now, and I think it's just deserves given our recent form and what he's done. So, yeah, I think we should be able to win those games. We have to win United against home. We have to. That's a must-win game for us. If we lose that game, then. And if you can get a point out of Chelsea, maybe Spurs, I think that's all we need out of those games. But yeah, it's gonna come down to the wire. Spurs is probably gonna end up as a end of the season classic because
Imagine.
Well, I mean, there is rumors that it's probably going to fit into the third week to the end. So we're game week 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Damn,
gonna.
that's gonna suck for us though, because that's the same week we play against Liverpool at Anfield.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No,
I think
That's a whole different topic. We
I
can
feel
turn
like
this
North
into a
London
fantasy
derby will
football
probably
sports.
be because a lot of people are saying that City Liverpool are going to be way more conservative than the first time around when they tied 2-2 earlier this season.
Liverpool can't be. They can't be.
But in that regard, that's why I think a game like North London derby will probably be more like a more exciting match.
It's a derby.
Because there's more to lose for both of those teams.
As an Arsenal fan, I am terrified of going away to Spurs on a cup final type of match. I mean,
will
there's
say
so much
we-
to lose. There's so pride. top 4 champions. Oh, dude.
We should hopefully find out soon because I'm pretty sure the next round of broadcasting lineups are going to be announced. If not next week, the week after. So we should hopefully know
after
soon.
international break. Can we get a soundbite from our crack producer on what you think about that North London derby and how you feel like what's riding on that game, as far as like I don't know what it's worth to the club
Everything's riding on that.
pride?
or your
It's-
pride.
Literally everything is riding on that. It's us coming back to the Champions League. It's us getting more money, getting more players. We have everything on the line in that game. We've been building up for 2 seasons to get back to the Champions League, and I think we finally got the squad that will continue pushing us for that dream, right? To be able to go back to the top 4. So in my eyes, that's the end prize. That's our trophy for the end of the season is top 4. Will we get it? Yes. I definitely think that we have the capability and the team to be able to get to there. We'll see based off of the last couple of games we've been playing and how we've been playing. I think we have what it takes to be able to finish the top 4. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it's gonna be a 4th place. I think it's gonna be 3rd.
Okay.
I actually agree with what Diego said. Up to a certain extent.
Oh God, I got Marco to agree with me.
I am gonna be Gat for the next 30 seconds. Sorry.
Damn. Purple.
Hairball.
Hair of
crazy.
I do think it's gonna be a City win, 1st place. Right after with Liverpool, with I think it's gonna be 1 or 2 points max between them.
Okay.
Arsenal in 3rd.
Shit.
This is where we to change this up a little bit. I do think Chelsea will remain in top 4 with the 4th place, and I think it's gonna be Spurs and then United.
Wow. So he agrees
for
with
the
me
top
just to
6.
shit on me. Great. Okay, cool.
I mean, that's why I said 30 seconds.
You were gonna ask something?
Oh yeah, not to bring up bad memories, but in 2019, Aubameyang missed the last-minute penalty away at
Spurs.
Spurs
Mhm.
for top 4, basically.
And look, those are moments that we dread.
But now there's no Aubameyang, so
No,
There's no
yeah.
Aubameyang.
No, it's gonna be Laka's gonna miss it. I'm kidding.
No, it's chill.
Yeah, there's a lot riding, man. This season it's crazy how like top 4 is such a big thing now.
But
Like,
it-
now you see the levels.
It's the
man.
first time the traditional top 6 are currently in the table as the top 6 in a
Correct.
while.
In a while, yeah. And it makes it a lot more interesting. I think this year has been more interesting than the past couple years in a way. In the top 4 contention, the race for the 1st place, and again, like you said, it's been a while since it's been the quote unquote top 6 teams
Yeah.
in Premier League in the top 6 positions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's coming down to the wire. We're in the final home stretch, and I'm happy that Diego is finally here, so we can continue talking more and more about it each week.
Word.
Look, we got Champions League draws we can go over. We're already at an hour.
Jesus.
I'm gonna give you guys the option. Do we get into them or do we save it for next episode?
But we are in an international break, so I think just the fact that those games are coming up, I think we should give that the spotlight
They're coming up this
week.
The international ones?
International,
break,
yeah, for
yes.
World Cup
It's
qualifying.
this week and next week.
Oh yeah, honestly, I don't have the games pulled up. I know that Mexico and US are playing.
Mexico and
today?
USA play tomorrow night, and then Mexico plays Honduras on Sunday, and then they play El Salvador on Tuesday.
When do Spain and Italy and Portugal play for their qualifiers?
Well, they don't play against each other until
Not yet.
Not yet. And
Yeah.
They have to beat their current opponent
Which
first.
most likely they should beat them realistically.
So, forget who goes against who. So, I'll check it up for you.
You do have though.
Portugal
Okay,
goes
so
against Turkey.
yes, Portugal Turkey, which is going to be very very interesting
Mhm.
with no Diaz in
Easy.
that back
Italy, right?
line.
Italy, yeah.
Salah,
North
Salah versus Mane.
Oh yes,
Macedonia?
Macedonia as well.
When's that one?
Jesus.
Both legs are being played this break.
This
Mhm.
break?
Both
Oh,
legs.
You'll find
shit.
out which African nation will go
Ooh.
to the World Cup.
And Nick, do you think that would that has the potential to drive players apart in the locker room?
No.
I think because Salah's going to Real Madrid anyway. So
Damn.
If it wins more trophies, I'm Salah FC sometimes. If he goes to Madrid and wins stat pads that league,
Do you think that's a real possibility?
what, him going to Madrid? If they don't get Mbappe, I think so. But only thing I think what may stop Madrid going for Salah is just his age. I think they probably prefer to go for younger players now, especially since they might have learned since signing Eden Hazard. They signed him when he was 28 or 29 from Chelsea.
29, yeah,
But Salah's on a different physical spectrum than Eden Hazard.
Mhm.
But
that is true.
yeah, I don't think on those Egypt Senegal games, I don't think it's gonna go well for Egypt. I was watching them during AFCON. They just looked so bad. It was just Salah and Trezeguet popping up at times.
Yeah, this Friday is the first leg. Will be between Democratic Republic Congo versus Morocco, Cameroon, Algeria, Mali against Tunisia, Egypt, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria. So a lot of good African nation teams right there.
There's a bench derby going on, right? In international, when it comes to international games,
Bench derby.
is it Mexico and Honduras? Did you say that before?
Yes, Mexico plays Honduras on Sunday, but Honduras already is unfortunately mathematically incapable.
Oh.
They've been mathematically out since game week 2. So
for a while.
I mean,
Guy, you brought your Uruguay jersey. You wanted to mention that real quick. You say you wanted to touch on something from the international.
I just hope Colombia doesn't make it. We'll see what happens. Where are you guys sitting at? You guys sitting 7th, 8th?
They haven't
Ninth?
scored a goal like the last 6 games.
How's Diaz been for Colombia?
He's been the only one doing anything for Colombia.
How does it feel as a United fan and a
Absolutely
Colombian?
awful. So my mother being from Mexico, my dad being from Colombia, I've always
I'm Guatemala. What are you talking about?
I can't.
didn't
I
say-
can't.
I
I
kept
thought
my
this was a
mouth shut.
safe space.
I
thought
kept
this
my
was a
mouth
safe
shut.
space. Wow.
I kept my mouth shut.
Okay, so my bio mom is from Mexico. My bio dad is from Colombia, and so I've followed both teams. Although admittedly more Mexico than anything, because the rest of my immediate family around here is from my bio family. Don't you even dare.
All right. I have another question for you.
Is from Mexico, so definitely like as a kid watching them, little tidbit. Colombia has been doing terribly during this World Cup qualifying round, and historically, after not being in the World Cup for a while and then popping back up after like the early 2000s, because even though they had great players, they just didn't do well. They didn't perform well. Right now, you have the whole like James thing, 2014, like blowing up, Falcao, everything.
Where is he though?
And now
Where is
he's
Who?
wow.
Where is he?
He's doing 10 out of 10 performances in
No, where's
in
James now?
Qatar.
He's in
Oh,
Qatar.
he's in Qatar.
Yeah, he went after the money.
I mean,
He's making money.
if you're not fucking doing anything else, why go for the money at that
But
point?
yeah, they
He's
look.
playing Xavi ball out in Qatar.
Colombia clearly looks terrible though, and Diaz is the only one who's been doing anything.
You never know though. We might
so
we
it
might
feels
help you out.
awful.
We might help you out because Uruguay plays the 2 teams that are under us, which are also the 2 teams that are above you guys. So our performances ever since we got our new manager have actually been pretty good. So I would expect to probably win both of our games, which means if you just win one, probably, I don't know if the math lines up. Probably not.
No,
They need to win both. So
they need
Yeah,
to win
you have a
both and
chance.
then hope for all the results.
Oh,
to go
shit.
terribly for everyone else. But yeah,
you looking at the table?
Luis-
Tomorrow, Brazil,
Luis
Chile.
Diaz.
That's a good game.
Luis Diaz on Liverpool is the worst.
Yeah, both of us, Diego and I are both hoping that Brazil smacks.
So
Chile.
Brazil. So tomorrow we got Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, Ecuador,
Uruguay,
Uruguay,
Peru.
Peru. That's
Yep.
a good game right there too.
It's 4th versus 5th, I think.
Colombia, Bolivia. You guys should realistically win that game.
Correct, but
Is that bad?
they've been doing terribly, yeah.
That bad.
But we
Luis
bear,
Diaz is
yeah.
the only one that's even doing anything. and
We
he's the
couldn't
last
beat-
one that scored
we couldn't beat
7
Bolivia,
games
so
And Argentina, Venezuela, which the goats there, so we should definitely win that game.
I mean, Colombia definitely have the games that are
Di
in
Maria,
their
what you mean?
favor.
yeah.
Bolivia and Venezuela. So
They're supposed to be wins, but again, we have to rely on so many other results to go negatively and benefit.
so you and Gat have to be best friends for Peru to
No, he's been
and
talking
Chile
shit.
to fall.
There's no.
I've been talking shit since like last year. I would pull up the fixtures and say, "Oh, October
Listen, I just want
2021, Uruguay's gonna beat Colombia."
I just want to highlight the fact that Pescadito Ruiz has been officially recognized as the top scorer for World Cup qualifying in North America, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that. A true goat. A real goat.
On the whole, though, like South American, like international teams kind of fell off. Like 2014, like you had
Mhm.
Chile, Arturo Vidal, Medellin in his prime.
Aging and the-
Alexis Sanchez.
and in
They
the
never
case,
really
Alexis
like
Sanchez,
gave the
2016.
youth
And
an
then in the
opportunity.
case-
They kind of
and-
rode those players to the end of their fucking careers.
and
Yeah.
in the case of Uruguay, not just aging but just not adapting either.
Hey, 2014 as well, prime Luis Suarez, Edison Cavani,
Don't
Diego
mention
Godin,
that traitor.
Muslera, like as well. Like now it's just Colombia as well, like prime James. I know Falcao was injured for that World Cup. Ospina, like Sanchez, like there's so many. But now it's just like the only real teams is Brazil and Argentina. And Ecuador is doing pretty decently,
Yeah,
but
that they don't
Yeah, I
even need
know.
to. Because Brazil and Argentina already qualified for a World Cup, they don't even need to make up that fixture that they abandoned.
Oh yeah, weren't
So-
they supposed to play that?
Who?
Was the several Argentinian players
Brazil
banned?
and Argentina.
I thought they were
I
supposed to
thought they
replay
were
that.
supposed to replay that too.
It says abandoned.
There's no point.
I
They're both
haven't
qualified
checked
already
up
anyway.
on
Was
it.
it a World qualifier or was it
It
a?
was a
Yes,
qualifier.
yes, yes, yes.
There was
no-
a World
yeah.
Cup qualifier,
Yeah, but there's no
that
point anymore.
game's
They're
been
both qualified already
They're
anyway.
both qualified.
Yeah,
and
they just
Hey,
fuck it.
real
Well, we
quick,
got-
since we're talking about internationals teams, give me. I want your top 3 favorites for the 2022 Qatar World Cup.
top
win
3 or the
To
final
win it?
4
Top 3 favorites,
Oh wow.
to win it.
win
yeah.
it. I mean, shit. I feel like this should be a subject for our next podcast. To be honest, give us some time to think.
Okay, we're talking about qualifiers, so might as well.
Okay. Colombia, Uruguay, Peru.
No,
Oh, what the fuck? They might even make
No.
it.
All right. In all
One of
honesty,
those definitely.
in all honesty, I
Let's go
think
to
I
the usual
think
suspects.
I
you
think
know?
England could still do pretty well.
Okay.
England. I still think France also. I
And-
can't see
and Brazil.
Belgium.
And
I
Braz-
can't see Belgium, but
No, Brazil.
I throw Brazil in there. I
Brazil.
agree with those two.
I agree with
Brazil.
those two plus Brazil. Absolutely.
no, maybe Brazil. I don't know. They haven't been doing well in the last World Cups,
I-
man.
If I could throw my 2 cents, I think it's gonna be France, England, and Brazil.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
I like
That's
my,
your
I
two
love your
cents?
2 cents, man. I love your 2 cents. It's our 2 cents.
Really quick before, because I know
There you go.
you guys, it's a lot over there, so might as well just say it.
I mean, nah. What would you guys say?
No, it's same. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you agree with that?
No, hell no.
Who would you say?
I don't think Brazil's going to go far.
Yeah, no way.
look at their
Who
team
else,
though,
though?
bro. Their team is crazy.
Who else? Who else? Who else do you
Fred-
see going to
they have
distance?
Fred
Fred the
Fred
goal.
is gonna be top goal scorer in the World Cup.
But
Go ahead, say something.
I say he looks better than him.
Okay, so I think Germany has a shot.
Nah.
Germany?
has a shot.
It'll be
Yeah,
tough.
Yeah,
Be
no, they have a
tough.
good team. They
What
have a
kind
good
of
team.
reaction is that?
They have a
All right,
great
They
team.
were so
Another-
poor last World Cup. So
Another-
poor.
another
I
good
know,
team.
with more reason. Like, do you have any idea at least? Like,
Who's the new manager?
yes.
You got a new manager,
Hansi
right?
Flick.
Flank.
Hansi Flick.
Flick.
He's nice. I want him after Klopp.
I don't know. I've always liked Germany. I've always rooted for them, and when it comes to
Why?
international,
I have like 4
Let me
German
give you a couple of their
jerseys.
players. Kai Havertz, Leroy Sané, Joshua Kimmich, Ilkay Gundogan, Antonio Rudiger, Manuel Neuer,
Gnabry.
Gnabry, youngster, and Jamal Musiala. Like, oh my, like their team. I think they're underrated for this World Cup.
They have pretty
See,
stacked
it
goalkeeping
is
lineup
a
too.
team that has been tested.
Not with this team, no. Not
That's
yet.
why I don't think it's gonna come to fruition yet. It sounds like a team that will come to dominate maybe the next Euros, the next World Cup, but I just don't see it this year. I could be wrong, 100%.
I
I'm
believe it's
just
gonna be between Germany and France. I don't know.
oh
about
the
it.
final. Damn, I have England there. You don't have England there?
I,
No, no.
I think
What?
England and France. England
England
and
are just
France.
so stacked right now. They just literally have
No.
2 squads right now, and I'm gonna do a little troll. Wan-Bissaka isn't either one of those squads.
Good.
Wan-Bissaka is probably
they got I think
Good.
2 right backs injured, and still they call him up. Poor guy.
They called up
man.
Kyle Walker Peters before.
I feel poor guy, but he's been doing pretty good this
Yeah.
season though. So it is.
he's the one scoring goals for Southampton too.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
And I think the third team might be Argentina. I think it might be.
I think they're balanced
There's
now.
not
I
enough-
think it
not
might
enough
be
fortune,
Argentina.
in my opinion.
I would put it okay. Officially, my 3 in no specific order in terms of viability, but Germany, France, Argentina. I think so.
I think I'm gonna have to write out with England and France, but then my 3, I have a mix between Brazil, I think Spain
I was
our
thinking of Spain.
surpriser
I was thinking of Spain too, low key.
and
Yeah,
Germany.
low-key,
And
Belly, Gavi, they have
the
their
reason
squad.
why I say Spain is because I was talking about it earlier in the Euros 2020. Like they Jose Enrique coached that phenomenally. Like he had no standout players apart from really pretty much Pedri. Like he was putting Morata, Oyarzabal. Now I think the next World Cup, I think I have Ansu Fati and obviously a top manager and Jose Enrique. Pedri is going to be more seasoned. Yeah, obviously, but I think they're going to be a sleeper this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean Spain is you see the youth that they have and what they're doing. It's a great potential to be a sleeper for the dark horse. But I quickly want to shout out Canada, first place,
Yeah, shout out to Canada.
CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers.
They'll cost
19
teams.
since 1986.
They'll cause teams trouble.
Yeah, man. If I want to watch Pacey too. Alfonso Davies, I think, is back in training, so we should at least expect to see him very soon, and get back into the fold. Huh?
Buchanan, the winger for Canada.
I haven't watched him.
He's pretty good.
The only one that I've really watched from Canada is Jonathan David.
Jonathan David and Buchanan, both of them are unreal. They're animals.
It's kind of crazy how soccer really just exploded there, and it's good to see them, qualifying for the World Cup now. So,
Can you also rule out the Flying Dutchman, Netherlands? I mean, they had a great World Cup qualifying route.
I wouldn't put them up there.
I wouldn't tip them to win it, but I think they can go for it. I think just their back line, like Van Dijk, De Vrij, Matthijs de Ligt, a midfield of De Jong, Gravenberg from Ajax. Going forward, yeah. I mean, going forward, they have decent options. Dan Juma and Depay, but yeah, I can't. I think Portugal as well. Like, even though this is gonna be Ronaldo's last World Cup, players like
If they
Bernardo
make it.
Silva. I think if Portugal are gonna win the World Cup,
Hold on. So you're saying Portugal knock out Italy?
no.
So they're not going to World Cup.
Fernando Sanchez is not a good coach.
So Portugal don't even have the chance to win the World Cup. So
Yeah,
Italy,
that's pretty much contradicts my
Stop.
statement.
All right, look.
Got him. Ladies and gentlemen,
We got him,
get a
boys.
notebook out. Write that down. Write that down, Cat. Write that down, please.
You got him in 4K. Caught in 4K.
What's who do you guys see moving on out of Portugal and Italy if it comes down to that? Because assuming it's gonna come down to them, but
Well,
obviously one of them move on. Who's it gonna be?
Italia.
to be quite honest, I think it will be Portugal.
I think it's going to be Portugal because I feel like Italy might have lost their juju.
I-
I think they're not performing or playing consistently. They might slip up.
They lost a big player.
Chiesa. Is it Chiesa?
Chiesa.
Yeah.
Chiesa.
Chiesa.
Yeah, that's a big player. And Ronaldo, this is a big time moment for him, especially for Portugal. I mean, I know I said it for Atletico Madrid, but this is kind of written in the stars. Like if it's his last World Cup, it's like he's got to show up.
He's gonna be coaching that shit.
He's gonna pull a David Beckham, be an assistant coach.
For real. Well, he did it already to win the Euros that one year, but yeah, guys, look, I think we're definitely oh my God, we went overboard by a lot today, but it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Diego, I'm ecstatic that you're back here. Definitely, man. Is there anything else that you guys want to touch on, real? What's up?
Portugal would not have had that problem if that goal was allowed. They would have finished top of the group
Yeah.
by being equalized into Serbia.
Yeah.
So
Well, look on technology.
bullshit.
What are your thoughts? No VAR.
We've touched on that.
Oh,
so many
you know
times.
what? I do want to add on this because I think it's a bittersweet moment. The fact that Mike Dean. is
Oh
retiring.
yes, thank you. I was thinking about that. But I
The
gotta mention
fact
that.
the fact that Mike Dean is retiring.
I read he's not retiring.
Yes, he's going to be installed as a full-time bar.
Boo.
Supposedly. But you know, I feel bad, man. I feel like
What?
I feel like
Why?
no, for
I forgot he
referees.
favors you guys.
For
that's why.
referees.
For
For
real.
referees.
Fucking favors
Let me
United, that's why
finish.
half
Let
the
me
time.
finish.
When
Let
he
me
goes
Well,
against
players
Arsenal, we get a red card for fucking walking on the pitch.
bro, look at Fergie's titles.
You know he
Look,
has
look at some of those games
I
and
told ya.
look at some of those games and you'll
This is
see
the
a little
setup.
bit.
Set up for the guy who says,
You
I
said it-
kind of
you
feel
said
bad.
yourself.
Feel bad for the guy who's
No.
like,
You didn't let me
Both Mike
finish.
Dean and Howard Webb.
I feel bad for referees in general because when they retire, it's almost like these guys have spent their entire career getting shit on.
There's one referee I think that doesn't have that reputation.
Who?
That Dutch guy, I think he's Dutch. The
You
one
mean
that
the Italian?
that
The bald
double
Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he had like
That's
he had a
Yeah.
FIFA
most
game.
feared referee
That's an
in history.
OG.
So yes, of course, I don't think that will apply to Pierluigi Collina, who's the guy you're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
And the only referee to appear on the cover of a footballing video game.
I mean, it could happen, but make this little bitch and favor United. So
but
Yeah.
I think
what
specifically
he's
for
gonna be
the
known for.
generic topic of referees retiring.
Everybody's
Because I
hilarious.
also saw this. It was in a CONCACAF match, and I forget who. But it's like they spend their whole lives probably getting abused
Mhm.
and getting crapped on and getting insulted, and that they probably make these great relationships with players, and they know how to handle their personalities. Like I feel like just for a little moment, I want to give a shout out of recognition to referees.
That's right. That's
Sounds
why,
like somebody who's like on the receiving end of a lot of
No,
beneficial calls.
no.
That's
As-
why.
As human
I have
beings,
no.
as
That-
human beings.
Look. That's why Eric retired before he was.
I only have one card. I don't even have a red card.
I retired so long ago. He only has one
I only have one
card.
card. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not happening. No, I refuse to give credit to a man who's hurt us and
Oh my god.
made us
Eric, who
suffer
hurt
in
you?
the league multiple
That
times.
only proves my point.
And the only person
That only
who's
proves
given
my point.
gratitude is a United fan who's been on the receiving end of some beneficial, very skeptical calls.
Wow.
So am I
Wow.
surprised? Not really.
I'm just trying to put in the human, side of
Element in
things. Yeah, the human element, but I guess
Bullshit.
not. I guess not. Sorry, referees. In Eric's eyes,
Get rid of those motherfuckers. Get some new referees in there. Get some good referees in there.
God.
Marco, I know agrees with me.
Hell yeah.
He said the both of them
I
is for
agree
both
with
the
you
good
too.
ones. And you agree? Yeah. It's a thank you. I don't want to hear that Mike Dean appreciation shit around here.
it's a
I
referee
want
appreciation.
to see a Mike Dean de-appreciation post. For actually, no, I want to see a Premier League appreciation post for getting a little bit better for getting rid of Mike Dean. But no, he's a VAR referee, so and it's still the same bullshit.
Bro, this is gonna come
Also-
and bite us in the ass, bro. Shut up.
No,
It's gonna
it
bite us
is.
in the ass.
And
You
why
hit
is it
it bar
bite us-
once, now you're gonna hit it more.
Bro, isn't it bites in the
Because
ass?
he's gonna be
Watch.
behind it.
Isn't it bites in the ass when it's Arsenal versus United?
Yeah, and he's
Watch.
like, who's in the bar? Mike Deep.
Watch.
It's okay. We'll have.
Day
We'll
that
have.
happens. Save this
Eric,
clip.
You talking
Save
shit?
this
you
clip.
talking shit? I'm gonna make the line a little bit like this, and you're offside.
Save this clip because it's gonna happen. It's gonna fucking happen.
It's okay because we'll have challenge flags. So when the call doesn't go your way,
Yes,
just throw out
yes.
the challenge
Oh,
flag.
we
the
do have
challenge
to go
flag.
about the rule changes that we always want to talk about, which we never do.
This
I
call
mean,
we can
is
go-
brought to you
We can
by.
go. We can go.
I
we
mean,
can go
you-
another hour.
you can
I mean,
record
at
it
this
and
point-
just cut it and make it like a little segment on its own.
I
But
feel like nigga wants to get
I don't
something
know.
real quick.
Now, if you actually look at a lot of the Premier League referees, a lot of them come from the greater Manchester area. So
another conspiracy theorist.
There's no way. If you think
Another
about
conspiracy
there's
theorist.
no way
bro.
if you're from Manchester,
This
you don't support
entire
one of the Manchester
bench-
clubs or
this bench-
what is it, Newen Heath?
That's a table.
That's another like.
No, yes.
There's
It
no
is, it's
way
a
you
different
have
one.
no
But he has his
affiliation.
own. He's been in a specific situation, Mike Dean. He's been pictured. He's been pictured with his club in the stands.
Yeah, he has to.
his own club.
No, I'm talking about like
Man,
other.
you never seen
reps.
somebody undercover?
That's a conspiracy theory, man. Come on.
That's a ploy, man.
This bench is full of tinfoil hats. Like seriously.
I mean, Gats hasn't said shit. I don't know if he's agreeing with you or agreeing with Eric.
Yo, guys, say something.
We're already running over time. I'm not gonna say. I already said I agreed with you. So
I'm
that's.
giving up on you.
I wouldn't mind we bring back this promotion relegation idea that we talked about a while ago.
I'm all for it.
And if we can swap,
I'm all
we can
for
just
it.
swap all the referees in the Premier League. I'm perfectly fine.
For real.
For real.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
All we got was Mike Dean swapping from on the field to behind the camera and still having the same amount of power to ruin the game for everybody. So,
After that one.
As long as he takes art
My
class,
stomach hurts.
so we'll be fine.
yeah. So, all right. Is that it for today?
Yes,
Yes.
I believe so.
With all that being said,
I have another
Thank-
question. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, fuck it, bro. We're
Wow.
already-
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. As always, thank you for watching. Again, don't forget to hit everything down below, the subscribe, the like, the follow. It does go a long way. Diego, thank you so much for coming back.
To you guys, an applause for you guys for the bench, always doing it, week in, week out. on the post.
We've been trying to keep more consistent. So come share your voice. This is not going to be a rare occurrence. We are going to be seeing. more
Hopefully
Diego.
not. Chelsea fans, please. I literally went through a life-changing event, and still none of you motherfuckers have shown up. So,
They're going
so
through
that is true. I'll take.
They're going through their own life changing event.
I guess so.
Basically.
Listen, it's gonna be. It's a bit of a cell phone, but come on, guys. You can't. be
Eventually, we
serious.
slander them enough. One will come just to say no.
Dude, I
It's
know.
like
I
we're
know.
poking the same
This
bear.
person
and-
knows exactly who I'm talking about right now, and I know they're listening at this very moment. And if you don't text me saying I will be on a podcast next episode, then I'm very upset with you, and you will not be able to come over anymore. You're always allowed to come over, but yes. With that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, we're the bench with the voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.
Good night.